try as much as we can to work and bring this country to its senses.
The more you do, the more we want to be done, because that's the only way we can get this country out of this cancer of corruption.
I have taken this decision without prejudice to my commitment to the party.
The need to devolve power and responsibility to the zones and states.
A new wave of excitement swept across the country last Friday, the 31st of May 2018, as the news broke that President Muhammadu Buhari has signed the Not Too Young to Run bill into law. Nigeria has the prospects of being in the front rank of countries like France and Canada, which boast of very young elected office holders. The Not Too Young to Run law reduces the minimum age for presidential candidates in Nigeria from 40 to 35 years. Passed by both chambers of the National Assembly in 2017, the law also reduces the age limit for State House of Assembly candidates as well as those of House of Representatives. It is now 25 years. What does this mean for the Nigerian youths? How much impact will this law have on the political landscape of the country? How can young Nigerians take advantage of the law to avoid the mistakes of the past? These and more are some of the issues we shall be looking at on Political Update today. I am Umar Isabununu. Welcome. Seated already in the studio with me to discuss the Not Too Young to Run law is Senator Abdulaziz Nyako, a member of the 8th Senate and co-sponsor of the bill. Also joining in the conversation is Cynthia Mbamalu, a member of the Not Too Young to Run movement. Welcome to Political Update.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having us.
The Senator, I'm starting with you. You are a co-sponsor of the bill. How would you describe the journey? Is it rough, not too rough, since you have succeeded in what you've intended to achieve?
I'll describe it as very exciting, because I also had the opportunity to see democracy at work. And you know very well that this bill was an initiative of a civil society, Young Africa, and they looked for a sponsor in the Senate. I became the sponsor. And within the Senate, we had to do some degree of lobbying to get it done. It was passed, and then it went to the State Houses of Assembly. Ultimately, it came back, and Mr. President appended. The beauty of the whole thing is that it was initiated by a civil society. It reached the very ultimate level that it could reach in this country by us changing the Constitution, having a constitutional review in this regard, and Mr. President assented. And based on that, those that initiated it were also there on the final day when he appended his signature. So for me, what I really enjoyed about it was the whole process of democracy, realizing that democracy can work, and it is beginning to work in this country, inshallah.
Cynthia, your movement asked for this and they got it.
Yes.
What does this mean for the Nigerian youth?
I think for one, it has shown that young people do have a role to play in the journey to democratic development, and this for us was the first. This was testing that power of the youth in ensuring that there is democratic development, because like Distinguished has said, young people engaged within the different states, within the local government, advocating and getting interested in the issue of the constitution. Now for Nigerian youth, this is a win for us, because the age has been reduced. For instance, for State Assembly, at 25, it means you can aspire and run for office at the State Assembly. Also for the House of Representatives, and at 35, you can aspire to be a president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So this for us is an affirmation of democracy working, because what it has done is to open up the space for more young people to be included in the process. For young people, this is the time to start organizing, to start building constituencies, to start appreciating the challenges of Nigeria and bringing up solutions on how to solve that, because it's not just having young people in government, but having young people that have the requisite capacity and competencies to actually take up leadership position, because that is what we need in Nigeria, that level of intergenerational dialogue where you have both the younger and the older leaders that we have in the country working together to move for democratic development. So this is a big win for Nigerian youth. This is a big win for Nigeria's democracy, but it's time for us to take it beyond just having the law amended, having the constitution amended, and then having this become a reality for young Nigerians to start taking up leadership roles and start providing their own quota to national development.
a big win for the Nigerian youth.
Absolutely.
But at the National Assembly, when you were deliberating on this bill, and which was ultimately passed, did you take into consideration that money plays a very important role in politics in Nigeria?
Yes, we did. And we believe that over time, as our democracy matures, there will be less emphasis on that. You can see gradually with what even you've seen here in the group, what they've done now, you can see that there's a lot of substance coming in now. And people are beginning to take governance very serious indeed. And I think over time, it's the quality of the person that will matter. If I can just borrow from Martin Luther King, like he said, people will now be seen from the content of their character. We were able to see this. They passed their own bills, the civil rights bills and so on, back in the 1960s and 70s. And at that time, no man ever thought that a black man will have the opportunity to rule America. But by 2008, we saw a difference. Now, it wasn't that he was the richest man in America, but he got there. Now it is looking at like something remote, something that cannot happen, that there's a lot of money required and so on. But I assure you, over time, as our democracy matures, there will be less emphasis on money and there will be more emphasis on the quality of the persons that will participate. So this is a strategic level bill. We believe that over time, the full impact of this bill will be realized, inshallah.
Cynthia, 25 years age limit for House of Assembly and House of Representatives. Don't you think is too low for a boy of 25 years to be in the House of Reps? What manner of contributions is he going to make?
Well, I think, in fact, initially the first bill as sponsored in the Senate by Distinguished was actually asking for aligning the age of voting with eligibility age for uniform, meaning to bring it down to 18. Because our argument is that there is no scientific proof to show that age is synonymous with good leadership or with being a competent leader. There is no research to show that. The only research you'd find is that people that become leaders are not people that are born into leadership. It's people that learn how to be leaders. And I think at 25, we have young people that actually understand and appreciate their role and their community challenges. Now let's take State Assembly, for instance. What they're representing is their constituency. For House of Reps, are representing a constituency, meaning you have to understand and appreciate the challenges of your people within your constituency and within your state and how to effectively represent them. Now, what is leadership? It's appreciating the challenges of the people and meeting them at their points of need. And if you can appreciate the challenges of your people at 25, all you need to do is to think of better ways to meet their needs. So I think 25, yes, it's a young age, but that is also the age of creativity. That's also the age of innovation. That's also the age of compassion, because you're not yet so influenced with the huge challenges that have to do with either ethnic or religious sentiment. That is still that formation age. So you're still appreciating things from a very objective point of view. And I think that is what we need in leadership, objectivity. We need also people that are compassionate and understand the needs of their people. We need people that the people in their constituency see them as our son, our daughter, and they can easily talk to them and give them advice. Say, this is what we need. So that is what we want to start seeing in leadership. Younger people that appreciate the needs of their constituents, of their people, and would easily relate with their people as their sons and daughters of the land. That for us is a big win. That is what we want to see, and that is how development would be achieved, especially in Nigeria, because you can't discuss democracy and development without understanding the local context of the people, without understanding how the people would see and appreciate if it's their own daughter or their own son that is representing them, and someone they can talk with. The huge challenge of leadership is that we feel our leaders are inaccessible. We don't feel we can approach them or talk with them. But imagine a younger person in government. Just imagine the possibilities. Just imagine the access that you would have, especially with social media now. It means younger people can even send a tweet and say, honorable, it is what our problem is. They can send a message on Facebook. They can send a WhatsApp message. They don't need to even travel to his house or his home or her home to meet that. So I think it creates that space for more and more active engagement of citizens, and also gives younger people the opportunity to contribute all that innovation and creativity that they come with and contribute to national development.
If I may just add a small rider very briefly to what Cynthia said. By us having this law now, it doesn't mean that we have taken away the power to vote from the people. The people will still be the ones to vote who they want to come into office. If they feel that a 25-year-old is good enough for them, they will vote that person into office. And now the law is no longer an impediment whereby they will say, no, this person is good enough, but he's not up to the age of 30. I experienced that in my own constituency some time back. A lady wanted to run for House of Assembly back home, but because she was less than 25, she couldn't, and the people wanted her. Now we've made a difference because she was less than 30. I mean, now the first step has been taken. Secondly, as the institutions get stronger, currently in Nigeria, if I may use this language, there's some form of tough war taking place between the institutions, whether the legislative, the judiciary, and the executive. It's part of our democratic growth. But I think when this tough war is over, people are trying to occupy spaces, their rights and so on. But once we do that, and the institutions become very strong, then it wouldn't really matter what the powers will no longer be concentrated in just an individual, but it will be spread, and the institutions can check. So I think this is a good law. It's a strategic level law, and it doesn't remove powers from the people. They can vote a 25-year-old, they can vote a 60-year-old. It's really up to them.
Briefly, now that the law is in place,
yes,
what next step should the Nigerian youth take to actualize their dream?
They should take full advantage of it. They have to organize themselves. They have to know what they want. They have to lobby effectively. And they should take full advantage of all the opportunities that are in this law. I will maintain what I've said previously. It's a strategic level bill. With time, we will see the effect of this particular law or this particular act of the Assembly as it is now.
Cynthia, in a word or two.
I think one, young people go and become members of political party because that is the only platform to emerge as leaders. Register and have your PVCs and get ready to vote, and then go and let your people know who you are and what you have to bring to them on the table. Like Distinguished said, the people are the ones that will end up voting. If you don't give them a reason to vote you, then they wouldn't want to vote you. That is the power you have, the power the people would give to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming on Political Update.
Thank you.
For
Thank
having
you.
us.
Welcome back. We now take a retrospective look at the Democracy Day public lecture held on the 28th of May 2018 with former INEC chairman Professor Atahiru Jega as guest speaker. Let's hear now from Adamu Sambo.
Under the theme Peace Building and Good Governance for Sustainable Development, President Muhammadu Buhari said, in spite of the rough times experienced, his administration remains in touch with the aspirations of the people and continually work for the highest possible good.
We have achieved a good number of our set objectives, notably increased food production and food security, increased economic diversification into sectors that were hitherto neglected or underexplored. Our foreign reserves have reached new heights, and the outcome in respect of investment in infrastructure expansion are manifest everywhere. Overall, we are on track.
The security of Nigeria, he also said, has considerably improved, but the government will remain steadfast in confronting the agents of violence who have been engaging in banditry and reckless killings in parts of the country until total victory is achieved. President Buhari explained that the government will also not relent in the fight against corruption, saying effective and just utilization of resources are crucial for achieving sustainable growth and development of the country.
There can be no progress in any facet of our national life unless we tackle and curb corruption. We will not relent in our efforts to eliminate it regardless of the opposition.
Guest speaker, Professor Atahiru Jega, who is the immediate past chairman of INEC, applauded the Buhari administration for the successes achieved in the task of eliminating corruption, but said the fight has to be intensified in all its ramifications.
Mr. President, many of us who are patriotic and who are passionate about the fight against corruption not only commend you, but wish to treat you, we, as Oliver Twist. You know, the more you do, the more we want to be done, because that's the only way we can get this country out of this cancer of corruption. Some chairmen of committees in the National Assembly have become notorious on this issue of recklessly, with impunity, demanding for bribes. I have heard stories from many vice chancellors about the horrors that they go through on questions of budget and so-called oversight. All we are saying is that we must cast the searchlight so that Nigerians, and particularly public office holders, should have basic common decency and integrity in the ways in which they discharge their responsibilities.
Professor Jega also made a case for upscaling good democratic governance, taming of hate speeches, and strengthening electoral integrity, which was also re-echoed by Senate President Bukola Saraki in a goodwill message.
The 2019 election cannot be anywhere less in credibility, in acceptability than 2015. We should strive to even do better.
I believe that nothing is impossible in a united, peaceful, and democratic Nigeria.
The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, who organized the event, said Nigerians have every reason to celebrate Democracy Day.
The choice of the theme underscores the important role democracy and all its attributes play in bringing about sustainable development.
Nigeria's National Democracy Day is set aside to mark 3 years of the Buhari administration, as well as the nearly 2 decades of uninterrupted democracy in the country.
Ahead of the APC National Convention later this month, the national chairman of the party, Chief John Odigi Oyegun, says he is not seeking re-election. Salih Abdullahi has more.
Even though I had the desire to recontest as national chairman of the party, I have decided that it is ultimately in the best interest of the party for me to withdraw from the race.
The pronouncement by the APC national chairman is coming on the heels of speculations that he may seek re-election. Chief Oyegun says stakeholders of the APC at all levels are urging him to contest, but he decided not to seek re-election. He added that the aborted February 27th National Executive Committee decision on tenure elongation and the subsequent decision to hold congresses and convention show the strength of the party as one with strong democratic ideals.
I have taken this decision without prejudice to my commitment to the party in helping to solve some of the subsisting and emerging difficult issues, and my ability to continue to provide necessary leadership.
He urged APC members to mobilize support to ensure success of the party in 2019 general elections.
Members of the Buhari support group were a few days ago at the presidential villa, where they reaffirmed support towards President Muhammadu Buhari's re-election bid.
Members of the Buhari Support Organization were in the State House to not only lend their support for the recent declaration of intent by President Muhammadu Buhari to seek re-election, but also reassure him of their resolve to work assiduously towards ensuring that the objective is achieved. The Nigerian leader, who thanked members of the organization for their resolute support, said their voluntary sacrifices clearly indicate their trust and belief in the great future of Nigeria. His decision to recontest, he maintained, is not for personal gains, but in the best interest of Nigeria, whose resources have been mercilessly squandered by past administrations.
And one of the former heads of state was bragging that he spent more than 15 billion American dollars, not naira, on power. Where is the power? Where is the power? And now we have to pay the debt? Let anybody come and confront me publicly. This is a terrible time, you know.
The president urged Nigerians to reject those who not only mismanage the economy but also bent on dividing the country along religious and ethnic lines. As he puts it, they do not mean well for the country.
If you are working for the country, then you shouldn't be misappropriating and misapplying public funds the way people did. We will try as much as we can, to work and bring this country to its senses.
President Buhari said under his watch, 2.8 trillion naira has been disbursed in 2 years towards addressing the infrastructure deficit in the country, thereby stimulating economic growth and development in an unprecedented manner.
We have nothing to regret. Absolutely nothing. Let us keep on praying to God that He should put people of conscience in charge at all levels.
The Comptroller General of the Nigeria Customs Service, Hamid Ali, who led members of the organization, told President Buhari that majority of Nigerians are passionate about a second term for him because of his integrity, honesty, and selflessness in service to the nation.
I think every Nigerian that has a brain to understand knows that your being president has changed the direction and the course of this country. Therefore, for those of us who know you, for those of us who love you for what you are, it is not a choice for us, but a must that we must follow and push through and ensure that your second term in this country becomes a reality.
We are ready to return to the trenches, blazing the campaign trail once again, and it's all because of your integrity.
The Buhari Support Organization is a non-governmental, voluntary, and non-profit-making organization formed with the objective of championing the campaign activities of President Muhammadu Buhari before the 2015 elections.
And to other stories, the Social Democratic Party, SDP, rose from a National Executive Council meeting in Abuja where they adopted some decisions critical to the advancement of the party. Salisu Abdullahi tells us more.
Addressing the media at the end of the closed-door meeting, National Chairman of the Social Democratic Party, Chief Olufalaye, says, in addition to the strategy adopted, the party is working to ensure all inclusiveness through a new manifesto.
We have emphasized in the new constitution the need to devolve power and responsibility to the zones and states in accordance with our advocacy for a restructured Nigerian polity.
Chief Olufalaye says NEC has agreed to hold congresses to fill vacant positions where necessary, while encouraging members to work towards the success of the party at the polls. The party's candidate for the Ekiti governorship election and the adopted revised SDP logo were officially presented to public during the meeting. The NEC meeting had in attendance party leaders from across the country.
Over now to our tidbit segment.
Leaders of the All Progressive Congress APC in Bayelsa State have thrown their weight behind the re-election bid of President Muhammadu Buhari in the 2019 general elections. The APC chieftains also believe that a second time for President Muhammadu Buhari will enable him consolidate on the achievements recorded by his administration. The victim of the last Friday shooting incident at the All Progressive Congress APC rally in Ado-Ekiti, Honorable Michael Bamidele, has been moved to Lagos State for follow-up treatment. His senior special assistant on media and publicity, Ahmed Salami, said his boss is in a stable condition when he left for Lagos for further treatment. Bamidele was shot at the rally to welcome APC gubernatorial candidate Dr. Kayode Fayemi to the States.
That's it on the program today. See you next week.